Good morning, guys, from La Paz, from the cemetery in La Paz, and also happy birthday. Happy birthday to Bolivia. Today, or yesterday, 6th of August, is the Bolivian National Day, the Bolivian Independence Day. This whole weekend they celebrate independence here in Bolivia. And what they do as well in these days is they come to the cemetery. They leave gifts for their relatives, as you see here. Flowers as well here, a little poem there. It looks like a card or something they have left here for this guy over here. They have left the shirt of his football team right there, the strongest, one of the two big clubs from here in La Paz. They leave an apple, as you see the little flower that's dancing there, obviously the obligatory statue from Jesus. They leave some alcohol here. This guy was a fan of the Grants, the whiskey. A bit of alcohol for his fingers so he can keep clear of COVID even in these days in his tomb. It's a unique style here in La Paz or in Bolivia in general. The Aymara culture is very much in touch with your dead relatives even after they die. When they come here, they leave these gifts, especially in this time around the Independence Day of the country. Also, every year on the 6th of November is the Day of the Dead. It's not Dia de la Muerte. Here it's called Todos Santos or Ñatitas, which is all these. The culture around that goes back over 100 years. And the idea is you have the skull of your dead relative in your house, and if you need any advice about anything from business to love, work, any sort of advice you need, you go to the skull in the evening. You give the skull, you give the dead relative a little gift similar to what they bring here on the cemetery, and you ask him or her for advice. And in the night, the dead relative will show up in your dreams with the advice that you need to go on in life and conquer that challenge that you were faced with while you needed advice from the dead relative. So that's the story. And then, as I say, on the 6th of November every year, they come here to the cemetery with that skull, and they decorate it with whatever the dead relative was famous for, and also a lot of flowers, as you see here. They decorate it with cigarettes, sunglasses, diamonds, other Bolivianita, which is like a crystal stone from here in Bolivia. That's what the Ñatita culture is about, and all the cemetery here is full of street art, of these murals painted everywhere. And these murals are painted from local artists, also Bolivian artists, Colombian artists, Chilean, Argentinian artists that come here every December, and they add some more murals to the scenery here in the cemetery. It's a very unique style. So basically, this cemetery is also an open air gallery as much as it is a cemetery, full of great views over to the mountains in the background, around the city, up to the hills, the teleférico that goes around here, out to the hills of the city as well, in the background behind us. And you just go around here, watch these graves, learn about the culture of the Aymara, the way that they live here in terms of death. Like the way that death is treated here is a lot less final, right? You don't die and that's it when you're dead in Bolivia and in a lot of Latin America, really, to be honest. It's a lot more of an ongoing thing. You keep in touch with your dead relatives every at least once or twice a year. You come here, and as I say, some even keep these skulls at home of their dead relatives that they will leave at home, ask for advice. It's very, very different from our culture, my culture, the European culture, where once you die, you basically die, and that's it for the rest of your life, basically. But here, it's beautiful, I think, the way they keep in touch with their dead relatives in the Aymara culture, in a lot of the Latin American culture, and yeah, so unique. I'll definitely advise you to come here if you're ever in La Paz and explore this cemetery for yourself. These murals the idea came from an Italian lady that lives here in La Paz, in Bolivia. I'm not sure if she lives in La Paz, but she lives here in Bolivia, and she got the idea to bring all these South American graffiti artists in to La Paz. Started in 2016, I believe, and she got them in here. They all started to paint these murals. In the beginning, they weren't sure what would the local community think about it, because it's more an Italian thing. It's more a European thing, this painting these murals and this, but it was very, very well received, and it has become part of the celebrations every year of Ñatitas on the 6th of November, when the celebration or ceremony of the Day of the Death is. Around those weeks, there will be here these artists and adding more murals to the cemetery in unison with the ceremony here, when people come with as I said, with the skulls decorated in honor of their dead relative who is now buried here. And they come here, they have a big celebration ceremony, whatever you want to call it. It's obviously it's not all happy days. It's also, there's still some sadness involved in it, of course, but it's a lot more in touch with death, and the idea that once you die, you aren't just gone. That you keep your relationship going even after death with your mom, with your father, your grandfather, your grandma, uncle, whomever it may be. It is very beautiful, I think. So I definitely recommend coming here if you're ever in La Paz. And yeah, I'll end this section here. So this mural here behind me, you see what I'm talking about. This is one of the very, very good ones. You have the example of the culture of the Andean cross on the top there. You have the Diablo from the carnival times. This is the style of the La Diablada, one of the dances. If you saw the last video where I went to the witches market and I bought the hat there, the lady told us about all the stories around these masks that they put for the dances at carnival time. So this one here, this mural is basically with that culture, as we saw from that store. You have the Andean cross on the top, you have the hands out to the side, and at the bottom of the faces there, in the style of the Diabla, of the Diablo, the devil that they do here for carnival. So yeah, this is one of the very, very good ones here. We have a couple more on this street, full of these murals. We have all these murals. Here we have one with the skull, the lady itself holding the skull. We have another one here behind me, where we have exactly the skull itself, the way it's presented here, decorated with flowers, as I was telling you, that they bring them over here on the 6th of November. People's family members, dead family members, they bring the skulls here. We have another one here on this side, a classic Aymara lady. Unfortunately, the poem on the top there is not the best quality anymore, but it's incredibly pretty. It is definitely also a bit of an eerie, bit of a scary, eerie atmosphere here at the cemetery, especially once you find these graves like this one here from a kid. You see SpongeBob SquarePants, you see, I don't know what this snowman thing is, and the other cartoons. Like to just see as well up here, there's one with the, I don't know how well you can see it, with the flowers and these dancing figures in this as well. There is a bit of an eerie feeling. It's, as I said, it's not all joy and celebration. It's sadness as well, but it's a lot more awareness of what it means to die. And as I say, the culture of this Ñatitas, of the skulls and decorating the skulls, and what the graffiti murals are all about, is about over 100 years old. It is a very unique Aymara, the local Altiplano, Bolivian part of the Altiplano culture. It's a unique thing to here, to this region. Something that's very much worth coming to visit. As you see as well, there's a lot of different types of tombs. So like this one here behind me is from Familia Gamarras, it says there. So like this would have been one of a richer family, one must assume, since they could afford to build their own building for as a tomb, where everybody else or most other just share these long buildings where you put your coffin in of your dead relative. But here we have these single family buildings, almost like a little chapel. Although there's obviously no inside there, but it is almost like a little chapel in the size. It's very impressive. And But we have here as well in this cemetery a lot of important figures in Bolivian history are buried here. Herman Bush, a former president, I believe. Other former presidents are buried here as well. And it's a lot of very, very important people are buried here in the Bolivian history. It used to be outside of the city, this cemetery, when it was first built over hundreds of years ago. But yeah, as the city has grown, people have moved up, and the cemetery today is almost smack bang in the center of the city, with lots and lots of life in the streets around here. So yeah, that's the history of this cemetery. Today has been an interesting one. We found the biggest murals. We found all of the murals around. Saw a lot of great street art. A lot of interesting culture. Very unique, specific culture to the region of La Paz and the Altiplano, the Aymara culture. To me, it's very interesting, intriguing, the fact that death here is not so final as it is at least in Europe. Where I'm from, in Denmark, where I'm from, it's a lot more final once you're dead. I've not been to my relatives' graves for ages, but here people really keep going. They come, they bring up offerings, gifts, not offerings, they bring gifts for the relatives, whatever they used to like. The football team, their art that they liked, flowers, lollipops, candies. So it's very unique, that contact, very grounded contact with what it means to die. The fact that here it's not so final. I think it's quite beautiful, it's quite unique, and I would definitely come here for yourself to see this Cementerio General in La Paz, if you ever come to La Paz. And yeah, with that, I'll end the video today. If you did like the video, please hit the subscribe button, give the video a like, so you get to see when I upload next time. And yeah, with that said, I'll end it here. See you in the next one.